Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you here to my video with my friend Lester Keizer out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Lester has had a long career in business continuity, specifically from a technology perspective, but he's worked hand in hand with hundreds of businesses to adequately plan business continuity scenarios over a very long decorated career. And as we're all dealing with this new dynamic of the COVID-19 situation, we want to provide content that is useful and valuable to the community. And so I wanted to get my friend Lester on the phone and talk to him a little bit about his expertise and some of the things that he's found most valuable over the years in planning business continuity scenarios for organizations. So, Lester, welcome and thank you for being with us this morning.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
So, Lester, first of all, what are some of the most important things that you have found businesses need to focus on when they begin to consider business continuity planning? And let's first talk about some of the business considerations and not the technology considerations. We'll get into the technology, but what are some of the things you've seen that businesses need to focus on when they're thinking about operations, culture, finances, and things when you're in a scenario like this where potentially portions of or all of your business are shut down, or you've sent all of your workforce home?
Good question. I used to think that I knew a lot about business continuity 10, 15 years ago when we started on this path. I used to say everybody needs a plan, write it out, work it out, practice it, and execute the plan. And that's important. One needs to have that. But in the last few months, the whole world has changed. And it seems like some of those plans are thrown out the window. What I've seen and learned, and one important part for business continuity, is that it's more than just knowing where all your clients' servers are, or whatever they need, or all their passwords to help them with in security situation. It's actually more than that. Some people think, Earl, that you buy a bucket from Amazon as a toilet and you have a business continuity plan. Well, it's more than that. Things I've learned that not very many people are talking about that I'd like to emphasize to you this morning is that it's all about the relationships with a business continuity plan. What do I mean? Here's what I mean. Your first responders, while we thank the police, the EMTs, all those that respond in times of disaster, they are not your first responders. Your first responders are your family, your friends, and actually your clients, and actually even your competition. What do I mean? When the whole world's burned down like now, and a big disaster happens, you can't even get to 911 to call. You have to rely on your family. You're going to have to rely on your next door neighbor, and you will have to have developed with them, even with some of your competitors to help you. And what we've done, and it's sort of like just it, but we have in place 3 or 4 really great companies in town that we have their numbers, we have their cell numbers, we have the owners, we've met with them for lunch about general businesses. They are competitors, but we look at them as partners in this situation, because if we need something, an extra help desk person or an extra, they may have some needs too, but they're going to help us through this. So I think we need to really realize first and foremost that business continuity is more than just a plan out there. It's a lifestyle. It's life continuity.
I think that's really great advice. Absolutely, stay in close contact and form great relationships with all the people around you. And it's interesting that you talk about, forming great relationships with those who you would normally consider competitors, right? I've actually seen here in our Utah market over the last few weeks, I've seen a lot of people offer really great resources to the public, including their competitors, offering their plans of how they're going to deal with the current situation and emerge on the other side of this, in the best possible situation, and offering it freely to their competitors to look at and consider. Or I've seen one of our partners who offered to all of their competitors, if you need somebody to do any on-site service, we're here for you. We'll take care of it. We won't charge you for it or your client for it, right? We have people out and about. Go
You made a
ahead.
very you made a very good point. Keep it succinct. I call this little presentation the three R's. First, relationship. Second one I call a business a retooling. You mentioned the point of working with the competitors and not charging. We need to think out of the box how we do business right now. When this all broke out, it was wanting content. What do we do with the coronavirus? How do we meet it? What are some of the things to do? And it was all coming in the form of thousands of emails. You get them, right?
Yep.
What we decided to do is think out of the box and develop, and I can send you a copy, a little one small pager PDF infograph for customers. And in the infograph, it went through some of the salient points that you mentioned. But one of the things that we did, which you touched on briefly, is we offered many weeks ago to all our managed service clients that if they needed to work at home, if they needed to, plug up their security for working at home, we would not charge them. In hardware, that's a different story. But for the services that we would provide during this time to do with working at home, business continuity technologies would charge them. One customer, a very, very big customer, said, "Well, how much will it cost for me to get all my employees working at home and get them all set up?" We said no charge, and he about fell off the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So was the time. What my point, Earl? Think out of the box, be creative. Now is the time to do good to Main Street America. And you've been in business for 21 years. You're going to be in business for 100 years if you do what's right and do good by your country.
Yeah, that's really important, and thank you for expressing that, Lester. And I've seen so much of that. I've seen so many people and organizations right now just being entirely selfless and saying it's not about me, it's not about what I'm going to make. It's about helping right now. And I understand that on the other side of this, perhaps there's an upside, down the road. But for right now, I just want to do good for the sake of doing good. Let's maybe transition quickly and just talk a little bit about some of the technical considerations, Lester, that some of the top 3 or 4 most important technical considerations that you've learned over your illustrious career, in business continuity that organizations need to be thinking about right now.
Okay, I missed one where you mentioned from a technical perspective, correct?
Correct, yes.
I think one of the biggest things, obviously, as you well know, and you've been doing it very well, is whole cybersecurity. The clients are very, very concerned that when their employees are working at home, all the back doors buttoned up. There's so many tools one can use. You can pick and choose. But I think the point of checking and rechecking and testing to make sure that the customer has that peace of mind that they're not being hacked we have companies that are in the it's actually a county that has judges, EMTs, important data and things that transpire for the county, and they're very concerned when their employees go home. So that would be number one from a technical perspective. I think the thing is that the customer needs to know that they are being monitored, not their data, but it's 24/7. From a technical perspective, they need to know that at night, again, that we'll be able to tell the networks are safe, sound, secure, especially when in a regional or a local crisis, not be non-COVID related. So the monitoring part is a very important part. But I think one of the biggest part, again, is getting back to the human contact. And I don't know this, but the help desk portion of any organization, even if you just have one sitting at that desk and triaging and answering those calls during office hours, when a client hears another voice on the other end of the line and calmly walks through them what needs to happen in their house, or they're setting up a VPN or a firewall, whatever, it lowers the panic anxiety.
Yeah.
Caretaker of their most precious assets, their data, that you are being responsible and being proactive in that part. And then again, the final part of it that found is what happens if they lose all their data. Your business console, I talk specifically about the disaster recovery portion of it. Again, there are so many tools out there, so many people selling on-site, off-site backup, different backup and recovery equipment. But remember, again, it's not all about the backup. It's about the recovery. They tested, and fortunately, had a chance to test it prior to the crisis and during the crisis, and provide reports, especially for those verticals that are compliance-based regulatory verticals. Those, I think, are the key elements of a very high-level technical stuff into each of the details that one wants to use.
Hey, that's fantastic information and advice, Lester. I really appreciate you spending the time with us, sharing some of your experience and knowledge that you've gained over the years. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Earl. Have a great day and good luck.
Thank you. You too.